Good evening, and welcome to Quiet Mind Stories. You're here now, somewhere just beneath the surface of thought. In the quiet that forms when the day finally loosens its grip. Nothing in you needs to be quiet yet. Nothing needs to be settled. All the movement inside your mind can simply drift like soft echoes unfolding in a dark room with no walls. There is a kind of night that holds you without touching, a warm stillness that gathers around the tired parts of you, the way mist gathers around water, gently, without taking shape. Let everything you carried rest beside you for a moment. Not softened, not solved, just placed down in the hush between breaths. If your thoughts still wander, let them wander. If your mind still strains toward the day, let it strain. In this space, even unrest is allowed to rest. There's no edge here, no direction. Only the slow, drifting quiet that begins when nothing pulls at you anymore. A quiet that knows your weight and holds it without effort. Time loosens first, then the noise around it, then the noise beneath that, until all that's left is a soft, patient darkness waiting for you to arrive fully. And when you're ready, or even if you're not, the night will open into the shape of tonight's world. A quiet, moonlit night where your thoughts gently drift into soft, peaceful mist. A place where thinking dissolves, where even memory moves slowly, where the mind stops being a mind and becomes only quiet. Let's begin. The last of the day has already let go of its edges, not gone in any sudden way, only softened, the way a room softens when a lamp is turned low and left alone. In the quiet afterglow, everything feels a little farther away. The corners of things, the outlines of thoughts, the small, ordinary weight of the world. Air moves through the space with a slow, easy patience. It does not hurry. It does not have anywhere to be. It simply drifts, cool and clean, carrying the faint memory of warmth. Somewhere beyond walls and windows, the sky has settled into its deeper color. Not a color with a name, more like a feeling, a wide, gentle hush that holds everything without asking anything back. The moon is there, in the way the moon always is. Not loud, not bright, just present. A soft coin of light turned toward the earth with endless calm. Its glow does not strike. It lays itself down across rooftops and trees, across paths and fences and sleeping streets. It touches without touching, a quiet hand of silver that leaves no trace. Everything under it seems to exhale. The day's small tensions, the day's scattered noises, the day's sharp bits, all of it loosens. All of it becomes less important, less distinct. The world is made of dim softness now. Soft air, soft distance, soft shadows. The kinds of shadows that do not hide anything, only blur it into comfort. A window is open somewhere, just a little. Not wide enough for drama, only enough for the night to be invited in like a familiar guest. The night arrives with gentle manners. It brings the scent of quiet leaves, the faint coolness that makes blankets feel warmer, the hush that makes even the smallest sounds seem kind. Somewhere, a tree shifts in the wind, not a gust, only a slow movement, like someone turning over in sleep. Leaves brushing one another in a language that has no urgency. That sound, barely there, does not interrupt anything. It becomes part of the stillness, the way a slow breath becomes part of silence. The moonlight rests on the tree's crown. It catches the topmost leaves and lets the lower ones disappear into velvet dark. Nothing needs to be seen clearly. Nothing needs definition. Even the ground, even the earth, seems to settle. Paths hold their shapes quietly. Grass folds down in the cool. Stones keep their old secrets without needing to speak them. There is a feeling of being held by the night, not held tightly, held loosely, gently, as if the world has widened into a soft cradle. A distant home has one dim light behind a curtain. It glows like a low ember, as if it too is getting sleepy. The light does not call attention. It only exists, warm and steady, then fades behind the softness of fabric. A street lies quiet, smooth and empty, like a ribbon left on the ground. No footsteps, no hurried movement, only the patient presence of night air, reading the street like a calm hand. Everything feels slow enough to notice how gentle motion can be, how even the smallest stir can be restful when it moves in circles, when it returns and returns. The clouds are thin tonight, like layers of gauze. They drift across the moon without covering it, only softening it further. Moonlight becomes milkier, quieter, more forgiving. It spreads across the world like a lull, across roofs that have seen so many days, across windows where curtains hang in loose folds, across gardens where flowers have closed themselves and gone still. A fence stands nearby, dark wood warmed by old sun, now cooling into night. Moonlight finds its top edge, making a pale line that guides the eye without pulling it. Everything remains gentle. Nothing insists. There is a softness in how the mind meets a night like this. Thoughts do not have sharp corners here. They arrive and leave. They hover like thin mist and then dissolve. It is the kind of night that asks nothing. It does not ask to be understood. It does not ask to be solved. It simply offers itself, a quiet, moonlit place where everything can loosen. Somewhere beyond the trees, a small body of water rests. A pond, perhaps, or a slow river that has forgotten how to rush. The surface is dark, holding the moon in a blurred reflection. The reflection trembles now and then, not from disturbance, but from the smallest passing breath of wind. Silver ripples widen and widen, then smooth back into stillness. A slow pattern, a gentle return. The water seems to know how to be calm without effort. It does not try. It does not strive. It simply rests in its own nature. Along the edge, reeds stand with their thin heads lowered. They sway as if listening. Their motion is small, almost imaginary, the way motion becomes when the night is deep. The air above the water feels cooler, tender on skin. It carries the scent of damp earth and quiet green, a scent so soft it barely becomes a thought. The night has textures, not sharp textures, only soft ones. The faint grain of wooden steps, the smooth weight of a blanket, the plush dark of a shadowed corner. Moonlight brushes everything with a thin, pale softness. It does not brighten. It does not wake. It only makes the darkness feel safe, familiar, kind. The sky is wide enough to hold any wandering feeling. And tonight, even wandering feels gentle. Even drifting feels like belonging. A porch sits somewhere in this world, its boards cool under moon. A chair, empty and still, holds the shape of rest without needing anyone in it. The railing is smooth from years of hands, now quiet and untouched. The porch faces the sleeping yard, and the yard faces the trees, and the trees face the open sky, one gentle layer leading into another. Beyond the porch, the grass is dark and soft. It drinks in moonlight without shining. It lies flat in some places, springy in others, like a blanket spread over earth. The trees are tall, but they do not loom. They stand like guardians made of patience. Their branches hang in slow curves, and their leaves hold the pockets of shadow. Here and there, moonlight slips through, making small pools of pale glow on the ground. Those pools do not feel like light. They feel like quiet places where the dark has thinned. The mind, when it wanders here, begins to match the pace. A slower pace, not dragging, not forced, simply the pace of night air and water and leaves. Thoughts come like little clouds. They drift across the inner sky, and then they are gone. Nothing needs to be finished. Nothing needs to be carried. The moonlit night holds it all, the way mist holds the shape of hills without gripping them. There is a path leading away from the porch, barely visible, made of packed earth and fallen leaves. It curves gently, never turning sharply. It does not go anywhere urgent. It only continues. Walking along it in the imagination feels like floating. Feet do not feel heavy. The ground feels supportive, soft, dependable. On either side, plants rest in their own silence. Low shrubs and tall grasses. The faint slickness of leaves catching dew. The delicate weight of moisture in the air. Mist begins to gather near the ground. Not thick, not dramatic. Just a soft blur that makes everything look farther away and closer at the same time. The mist moves in lazy threads. It slides around trunks and stones. It pools in small hollows, then thins again, as if playing a quiet game with gravity. Moonlight and mist belong to one another. Together, they make the world feel like a dream that has always existed. The path curves toward the water. The pond is there again, dark and restful. Its surface is a wide hush. The moon's reflection is softer now, smeared gently by the mist. It looks like someone took a brush and blurred the light until it became velvet. In the distance, a small wooden dock reaches out over the water. It sits low and quiet, barely more than a shape. It does not creak. It does not demand attention. It simply waits in stillness. The dock's boards are cool with dew. The dew catches moonlight and turns into tiny pale beads. The beads are so faint they might not be there at all. Looking across the water, the far bank is a darker line. Trees rise there too, but they feel farther away, softened by mist. Their forms blend together, becoming one gentle shadow. The night is full of these soft borders. Where one thing ends and another begins is not so important. Edges melt, separation fades. The mind can be like that too. Edges melting, borders fading, thoughts becoming softer, less defined, less insistent. A breeze comes again, as quiet as a whisper. It skims the pond and makes a small shiver of ripples. The ripples spread, widen, fade. The sound is almost nothing, only the suggestion of movement, only the memory of a touch. Overhead, the clouds drift past the moon in slow layers. The moonlight dims slightly, then returns, then dims again. Not like flickering, like slow blinking. That gentle changing of light makes the whole scene feel even more sleepy, as if the world is practicing closing its eyes. Somewhere in the trees, a single night sound appears, and then disappears. A small call, soft and brief. Not a message, only a presence. Then quiet again. The kind of quiet that feels thick, but not heavy. Thick like blankets, thick like calm. Mist thickens near the dock, curling around its legs. It makes the dock seem to float. It makes the water look deeper, older, more mysterious in a comforting way. The dock stretches out into the pond like a gentle thought reaching out, then stopping. Content to pause. At the end of it, darkness gathers, and moonlight lays itself down on the surface like silk. Everything here is slow enough to let the mind become slow too. Slow enough to let the inside match the outside. Slow enough to let thought dissolve into atmosphere. A lantern is not needed. Light is not needed. Moonlight and mist are enough, and darkness is kind. The air feels cool around the shoulders, faintly scented with damp wood and distant earth. It feels clean. It feels gentle. The body in this imagined place feels wrapped in softness, a warm layer, a familiar weight, the comforting pressure of fabric that holds without trapping. Above, the sky is vast. Stars are faint tonight, softened by cloud and mist. They appear here and there like quiet pinpricks, not sparkling, only existing. The moon is the main presence, and even it is modest. It does not shout. It does not glow like a spotlight. It glows the way a calm heart glows, steady and unbothered. The pond absorbs the night. It holds reflections and then lets them go. It mirrors the world without needing to keep it. That feeling of holding and letting go begins to spread, like warmth spreading through blankets, holding and letting go, softly, endlessly. The path away from the water is still there, curving back toward trees and quiet spaces. But there is no need to go anywhere. Wherever the mind rests is enough. Mist continues its slow drifting. It rises slightly, then settles. It curls around ankles and stones. It finds every low place, and fills it with softness. The mist is like thought when it no longer needs to be sharp. It is present, but not heavy. It moves, but not with urgency. It can be seen, but it does not demand focus. Inside this night, even memory feels quieter, not gone, just softened, like a photograph left out in the sun until its contrast fades. The world is gentle with everything it holds. It does not judge. It does not push. It simply waits. There is a small bench near the water, half hidden by tall grass. It is old wood, smooth from time. Its surface is cool, a little damp. Sitting there feels like sinking into calm, not sinking down. Sinking into the softness of night air and the slow song of stillness. The pond rests in front, wide and dark. Mist drifts above it in pale ribbons. Moonlight lays itself across those ribbons, turning them into silver smoke. The silver smoke moves slowly, slowly. It coils, it uncoils. It loses its shape and finds another. And thoughts, when they meet the silver smoke, begin to move the same way, coiling, uncoiling, losing shape, finding a softer shape. A thought comes. It hovers like a small cloud. It thins and spreads. It becomes part of the mist. Another thought comes. It does not crash in. It arrives gently, as if it has learned the manners of this night. It floats for a moment, then it drifts away. Nothing needs to be held tightly here. There is no need for gripping, no need for sharpening. Everything is allowed to blur into peace. The bench feels steady beneath. The air feels cool and kind around. The night feels large enough to take in anything and make it softer. There is a sense of warmth somewhere, not from heat, but from safety. Safety like a familiar room. Safety like the sound of rain far away. Safety like the knowledge that nothing is required. The trees behind the bench stand close, forming a dark, protective line. Their branches arch overhead in slow curves. The canopy is a soft ceiling of night. A few leaves detach and drift down, slow and spiraling. They do not fall fast. They float the way feathers float. They land in the grass without sound. And then they are still again, part of the ground, part of the quiet. The pond gives back a faint shimmer of moonlight, not a sparkle, only a gentle sheen, like skin under a thin sheet. Mist thickens for a moment, then thins. It moves with a slow rhythm that feels like breathing, but without instruction, without effort, only nature's own pace. The mind begins to lose interest in counting, in organizing, in naming. It begins to prefer sensation, coolness, softness, dimness, warmth. A distant owl might be there, might not. The sound is so faint it could be memory. It fades quickly, leaving the night even quieter. The night is kind enough to hold silence without making it empty. Silence here is full of soft air, full of still water, full of patient moonlight. Mist slides over the pond in layers. Near the surface, it is denser, like a blanket laid gently down. Above that, it is lighter, like a scarf drifting. Moonlight threads between those layers, making them glow from within, glowing without brightness, glowing like something warm under cloth. The bench, the grass, the trees, the pond, they all become the part of one slow scene, one long exhale. And inside, thoughts begin to feel less like sentences and more like textures. A soft blur, a dim shimmer, a gentle drift. There is a feeling of being sheltered. Even out in the open, there is shelter. The canopy of branches, the blanket of mist, the quiet firmness of earth beneath. Somewhere, far away, a light might pass behind a curtain, but it does not reach here. Here is only moon and shadow, only cool air and warm softness. The pond's surface is almost still now. Only the faintest movement remains, too small to name. It might be a ripple. It might be the pond's own slow settling. Mist touches the far bank, climbing a little, then falling back. It cannot decide where to rest, and the undeciding is peaceful, though it is free to drift without choosing. The mind becomes like that, free to drift, free to soften, free to not choose. The clouds pass the moon again, thinning the light. The scene darkens a little. Then the cloud moves on, and the moon returns, gentle and steady. That change feels like a lullaby, a slow dimming, a slow returning. Over and over. The trees seem to sway in the faint breeze, but only at their topmost leaves. The trunks remain solid. The ground remains steady. There's a deep comfort in steadiness, a quiet certainty, the kind of certainty that does not speak in words, only in sensations. The mist begins to feel closer, as if it has drifted up around the bench. It curls around the legs, around the grass, around the edges of shoes and imagination. It does not chill. It only softens. Moonlight turns it into pale silk that moves through everything. It makes the world feel like it is wrapped in a thin, protective veil. Thoughts meet that veil and begin to pass through it. A thought tries to hold its shape. It blurs. It stretches. It becomes mist. It becomes a softness. It becomes nothing in particular, and that nothing is restful. Somewhere in the distance, water meets water, a tiny lap at the shore. It is so quiet it barely becomes sound. It is more like a feeling, a faint pulse. That pulse repeats, not on a schedule, only when it happens. A soft motion, then stillness again. The night does not rush to fill every space. It leaves gaps, and the gaps are gentle too. The moon sits above it all, silent and patient. It has seen so many nights. It has held so much quiet. Its light seems to say nothing at all, and that nothing feels like permission to be nothing for a while. The bench, the pond, the tree line, they blur together in the mind's eye, edges melting. The scene becomes more like a feeling than a place, a feeling of cool air on skin, a feeling of warmth held close, a feeling of being surrounded by softness. Mist drifts through the mind now as easily as it drifts across the pond. A pale, peaceful haze. It carries away the sharpness of thinking. Once, the mind might have wanted to chase a thought, to catch it, to finish it. But here, in this dim, moonlit hush, chasing feels unnecessary. A thought appears. It is already dissolving. It does not need to be pushed away. It simply fades, the way mist fades when it moves into warmer air. The trees in the distance are almost indistinguishable now. They are shapes made of shadow. They are a border that feels safe, not confining. The pond seems larger, not because it has changed, but because the mind has softened. Distance feels different in the dark. Everything feels gently infinite. Mist pools in the hollows of the shoreline. It creeps over stones. It lies on the water like a second surface, a surface made of air. Moonlight paints a faint path across that surface, a path that leads nowhere and everywhere, a path just for the eyes to rest upon. Even the idea of resting becomes softer here. Not an action, not a task, only a state that the night naturally carries. The air is quieter than quiet. It is the kind of quiet that can be felt in the chest, in the shoulders, in the hands, a quiet that smooths out the inner noise. Mist moves in slow circles, as if the pond is gently stirring it from below. Those circles widen, fade, begin again. A pattern without demand, a rhythm without effort. Moonlight and mist continue their slow dance. No climax, no ending, just drifting and drifting. The bench feels less like a separate object and more like part of the earth. The earth feels less like ground and more like support. Support without words, support without question. The mind held by that support begins to float, not up, not away, only into softness. The pond becomes a mirror again, reflecting not the details but the mood, darkness and silver, stillness and slow movement, a blur of clouds. The clouds are thinner now. They spread out, covering more of the sky in a gentle veil. The moon becomes a softer shape behind them, like a light behind frosted glass. That softened moon feels even more calming. It makes the whole world feel like it has been turned down, made quieter. Mist seems to glow faintly under that filtered moonlight. It looks like breath in cold air, rising and curling, then disappearing. Thoughts are like that, a breath, a curl, a disappearance. The pond's surface is so calm it seems to hold the night in place, as if the entire sky could be laid down upon it and carried. The wind pauses, leaves stop moving. Even the mist seems to settle for a moment, becoming a still, pale blanket. In that still moment, the world is almost entirely silent, not empty, full of soft presence. Then slowly, motion returns, a faint ripple, a slight drift, a gentle sway, everything resuming its slow, circular way. The mind follows, a small movement, a soft drift, a return to calm. There is no need to hold on to any single image. The bench can fade, the pond can blur, the trees can become shapes, then shadows, then only the feeling of shelter. What remains is atmosphere, cool, clean air, moonlight filtered through cloud, mist that turns thoughts into softness. The mist is everywhere now, not just over the water. It drifts through the grass. It curls around tree trunks. It slides across the path. It makes the whole world feel padded, as if the night has laid down extra layers of quiet for comfort. Even sound feels muffled by it. Even distance becomes gentler. Everything that might have been sharp becomes smooth. The moon is a soft blur above. The pond is a darker blur below. And in between, the world is nothing but quiet shades and slow drifting. The mind becomes a quiet shade too. Not a machine of thoughts, not a busy place, only a dim space filled with calm air. A thought tries to form a sentence. It loses its words. It becomes a feeling instead. It becomes warmth. It becomes stillness. Mist moves through that inner space, clearing without pushing, softening without effort. It is a kind mist, a patient mist, a mist that expects nothing. The pond's faint lap at the shore returns once, twice, then not again. The sound is like a tiny lull, a gentle reminder that the world is alive even in rest. The trees stand, the clouds drift, the moon watches, the mist wraps everything in softness, and the mind, surrounded by all of this, begins to feel less separate, less like a small room full of thoughts, more like a wide, quiet landscape, a landscape under moonlight, a landscape in mist, a landscape that does not need to be understood. Everything becomes slower still. The sentences of the mind loosen. The spaces between them widen. The silence grows comfortable. Moonlight, dimmed by cloud, feels like a soft hand over the eyes. Not blocking, only shading, only calming. Mist continues its endless drifting. It rises, it falls, it curls, it fades, it returns. There is something deeply gentle about returning to softness, returning to stillness, returning to warmth. The pond holds the sky's reflection. Then it lets it blur. Then it holds it again. Nothing needs to be perfect. The trees hold their shadows. Then the mist softens them. Then the moonlight returns to them. Everything is allowed to change slowly. In the quiet, the idea of time becomes distant, not important, not pressing, only a faint concept that drifts away like fog. The night is simply night. The moon is simply moon. The mist is simply mist. And the mind is simply a soft place in the middle of it all, a place that can drift, a place that can blur, a place that can rest. The air feels like velvet now, cool velvet, a gentle fabric brushing against skin. Blankets in the imagined room feel heavier in the best way, like a warm tide settling. The weight is steady. It does not shift. Moonlight through a window makes a pale shape on the floor. That shape is blurred by mist outside, by curtain inside. It is just a faint patch of light or dark. The rest of the room remains shadowed, safe, quiet, unwatched. In the corner, a piece of furniture stands in silence, its outline softened. Nothing in the room is sharp. Everything is rounded by darkness. Even the air indoors and outdoors feels connected, as if the open window lets the night's calm flow through, unbroken, as if the pond's stillness can be felt even here. Mist outside is a moving curtain. It drifts past, turning the world into an indistinct painting. Trees become smudges. Grass becomes a dark softness. The moon becomes a pale bloom. And the mind becomes like that painting too. Colors without edges, shapes without names, a soft blur of comfort. Thoughts are quieter now. When they appear, they are light. They do not cling. They drift like thin smoke and fade into the dim. There is only this. Moonlight filtered and gentle. Mist that turns everything into softness. A steady warmth close by. The world outside continues its slow motions. The pond's surface moves in tiny ways. The trees sway at their tops. The mist drifts, always drifting. Inside, everything is still. The room holds its quiet. The fabrics hold their warmth. The shadows remain deep and kind. The moon's glow feels farther away now, as if it is sinking into cloud. It does not disappear. It simply becomes an even softer presence. Mist thickens for a while, and the view beyond the window becomes almost nothing. Just pale gray darkness. Just a gentle veil. That veil feels like the last layer between the waking world and sleep. Not a barrier, a blanket. The mind settles into it, the way a stone settles into sand, without effort, without thought, just settling. Words become slow, meanings become quiet. The rhythm remains soft and repeating, soft and repeating. Safety, stillness, softness, warmth, hush, drifting. Enough. Those feelings circle like the mist circles. They return like the moon returns behind cloud. They stay without needing to be held. The pond is still there, somewhere beyond the veil. The trees are still there. The path, the bench, all of it held in the night's gentle palm. Thoughts, if they rise, rise like mist. They do not become storms. They do not become noise. They rise and thin and disappear. The room grows even quieter, as if the very air has decided to rest. The window is a dark rectangle with the faint glow behind it. The curtain hangs like a soft wave. Moonlight, now very diffuse, seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. It is not a direction. It is an atmosphere. Mist outside moves past in slow sheets. The sheets fold and unfold like fabric stirred by a hand that has all the time in the world. Inside, warmth is deep and steady. Not hot, just enough. A gentle pool of comfort. The mind floats in that pool, not trying to swim, not trying to reach the edge, only floating. The night continues, the moon continues, the mist continues, soft cycles, endless patience. Safety becomes the most natural thing, not an idea, a sensation, a quiet certainty in the dark. Stillness becomes easy, not something to achieve, only something already here. Softness fills every part of the scene, the air, the fabrics, the shadows, even the space between thoughts. Warmth remains close, like a gentle companion that does not speak. Hush remains all around, thick and kind. Drifting becomes the only motion that matters. Drifting of mist across water, drifting of cloud across moon, drifting of the mind into sleep. Enough, enough, enough. Nothing more needed, nothing missing, only this quiet, moonlit world. The edges of the room blur. The window becomes a soft square of darker and lighter. The world outside becomes a feeling of mist and moon. The pond's reflection becomes a memory of silver. The trees become a memory of shelter. The path becomes a memory of gentle curves. What remains is the rhythm. Soft, slow, repeating safety, stillness, softness, warmth, hush, drifting, enough. The mind does not need to hold words anymore. Words can fall away like leaves. They can land and become the part of the ground. The night holds everything. The mist holds the night. The moon holds a quiet glow behind cloud. And the softness keeps going and going without any end to it. A slow tide, a gentle dark. The scene becomes almost nothing, and that nothing is peaceful. A dim warmth, a cool hush, a pale blur of moon through mist. Thought dissolves into atmosphere. Atmosphere dissolves into quiet. Quiet dissolves into rest. You are safe. You are enough. You may rest now.